Hello, welcome to Duncan Egg Bricks, and may the 4th be with you. I'm afraid that's as close as you're going to get to a Star Wars video from me today, although I did pick up one of the new LEGO Star Wars sets, the Andor U-Wing set. I'm not going to be doing a review on it as there's already plenty of them out online, and I also don't have any Star Wars MOCs, so today, despite it being Star Wars Day, you're going to have to make do with part 77 of my Hogwarts MOC series, where we take a look at my brand new Viaduct Entrance Building. I was taking a look through some of my old videos and I realised that the original Viaduct Entrance Building video was part 6 of this series, so 71 whole videos ago, and was posted 4 years ago. So it's about time that I got round to making the changes that I wanted to make with this. So first things first, I will just pull back and give you a view of the Viaduct Entrance Building. And there it is. So it's not looking massively different from how it looked before, but there have been a few changes. Now, first things first, the terrain underneath, that is the outside of the potions classroom, which I showcased in the last video. One change that I have made, which I mentioned in the video, was that I've swapped the 1x4 tile here to one of these modified plates with a stud at either end. This is so the viaduct can link onto it a little bit better, and it's still easy to remove, which is good. Unlike my original Viaduct Entrance Building, or the very original version, which I was looking at photos that I'd kept of the initial builds for that, this little bit outside that my sig fig is standing on is not actually part of the building. If I lift this up, you'll see that that remains behind as part of the potions classroom, and this just sits on top in a similar way to the other parts of the castle. The major change that you'll see on the outside is actually in the turrets. So, got these two large turrets, one at either side. The turrets themselves are almost exactly the same as are the towers underneath. This is still using a technique of brackets and bricks with studs on the side, and some of them actually using headlight brackets on their backs, so you get that 2-stud high connection there, which interestingly there is now a piece for that. There's a relatively new 2-high piece with the rounded kind of back, which is a very useful piece but didn't exist when I built this in the first place. And I did think about having a look at replacing the headlight bricks with those, but there really wasn't any need. The structure works just the same like this. The major changes here are from this level up. Previously, this was where the roof started, so I had a row of cheese slopes all along there, except for in the middle, and then the roof started there. What that meant was that the roof effectively had a longer front here and then a shorter back. So you had the entire front, which was 5 bricks tall, and then the back was only 2 or 3 bricks tall. So that meant that the roof then had to end very abruptly round the back. Now, I took a look back at the model and the digital versions of the Viaduct Entrance Building, and I realised that actually I hadn't got it quite right, and there is a little bit of extra height of wall there, which means the roof starts slightly higher. What this effectively means, if I move this around, is that the roof is now symmetrical. So it goes up 3 bricks on one side, down 3 bricks on the other side. And this also means that when I spin this all the way around, that the wall continues along here. The upshot of all of this is that when I bring in the Viaduct Entrance Building corridor with the other part of the potions classroom, turn it around and slide it under here, it all matches up, except for a slightly uneven desk surface, perfectly with this wall disappearing into the roof and then re-emerging on the other side, or it would do if there was actually some roof there. So this means there's no longer some 2 by 2 by 2 slopes on the back. It's all just using the 2 by 2 by 1, which is exactly what I wanted. This meant that I did need to make some changes around the back. When I talked about the Viaduct Entrance Building corridor a couple of videos ago, I did mention that the back wall of the Viaduct Entrance Building, which used to be part of it, is now separate, and you can see that there. Just got a tile there, and that slides in nicely. This slides in nicely around the base as well, so everything ties together really, really well. And because of that, I just pop the camera down, did mean that I had to come up with a new solution for the walls. So what I have done, similar to my clock tower and a couple of other parts, is I've made some removable walls. So we've got 2 sections. First section is a bit easier to take off. You just pull on this bit here and that pops out. It's just a single section, all holds together by itself. And this gives us a better view of the inside of the library. Now, this isn't all of the library. Part of it is actually just here. If I bring the Viaduct Entrance Building corridor in, you can see that there with the bookcase just there. And there is another section that's part of the central tower. I'll just move this aside again. But this is the main part with most of the bookshelves. Now, the interior details, they really haven't changed. We've got this bookcase over here on the side, and then 3 similar bookcases going across with a table behind there with a lamp, another lamp in the corner, and then there is a gate here which represents the restricted section, just a tile with a padlock on it there. And then over in this side we've got a comfy armchair. So the interior details really haven't changed, but I did have to just move a couple of bits around to get the wall in there. Because the way this worked previously, this was the edge, and the outer wall, part of the Viaduct Entrance Building, was actually out one more stud, so it was level with this bit that sticks out, which actually was another reason why I didn't like the build that I ended up with. It was a bit of a compromise and a bit of a bodge, but I'm much happier with how this has turned out. Positioned a couple of minifigs inside here, Madam Pince, who didn't exist at the time I built the original one, and the Harry with his invisibility cloak from the CMF Series 1. Interested to see if they do another CMF series. It's been a little while since the second one. And then we come down to the ground floor. Now, this is where a little bit more of a change has happened. So first of all, over on this side, this has been completely redesigned. So this is Firenze's classroom. In the previous version, the Viaduct Entrance Building actually had a doorway just here instead of a window. And this is where the stone bridge pathway connected through. I've removed that connection. When I initially designed the castle, what I really wanted was for it to be walkable, and annoyingly, that didn't really work out. So I thought, rather than trying to make it walkable in a couple of areas, I would just give up with that and make it look a little bit nicer on the outside. Didn't quite make sense anyway, because it's really meant to go through this turret just here. So I've removed that, which does mean that Firenze now has a classroom that isn't a corridor, which I'm sure he's much happier with. Also went back in and detailed it a little bit better. Previously, I built the shell of the building without really any idea what I was going to put in it. My initial design had Firenze's classroom occupying the whole bottom floor, and then later I changed it so that over here was Fluffy and the trapdoor, which of course has moved, and I'll show you what's in there in a second. So what I've done in here, I've used the 2x2 by 5 quarter cylinder piece over there for part of the tree, and at the back you might just be able to see there's the 3x3 quarter cylinder with the 2 kind of branching arch pieces, and that's used for the tree there. There's various different pieces. There's a web piece, there's a spider, a little mushroom, a bat hanging down there, a yellow frog, all sorts of little details. And there's also, if I can tilt this back without dropping it, some leaf details up in the ceiling as well. I've also used these slope pieces here to represent a little campfire, and I've positioned these dark tan 1x1 round plates perfectly so that they can go underneath Firenze's hooves. So there's room for about 1 student in there with him, but yeah, it still looks pretty good given the space. There's a door to the classroom just here, just using your standard door piece, and then there's also the main door. You can see me there, out onto the viaduct. So that does get in the way of this door here, but if you do want to open it, you can just push like that, and that's absolutely fine. Now we move over to the last bit of interior here, and this is the bit that has changed the most. This has got another removable wall, but we do need to open this door in order to remove it properly. Just put your finger in behind there, and then that pops out. And there we go. Shock and surprise, it is McGonagall's Transfiguration class. Now this has basically been a straight swap with the Fluffy Forbidden Corridor. This is now in the position that Fluffy was, and vice versa. So a little bit of a smaller space than I had to play with before, but I think I've managed to get all the details in. Behind McGonagall there, you have got the blackboard with the instructions for Transfiguration. You've then got McGonagall there with the toucan piece, which isn't 100% accurate, but it's pretty close, and the printed tile with the Transfiguration spell on it. And then you have Ron and Hermione. Ron looking very worried that he's going to have to transfigure Scabbers, and Hermione, who of course has already done it without even being shown how to. So good for her. I did actually make one tiny adjustment before I started filming. Originally, I had these chairs here, or these stools, as being a 2x2 round plate with then two 1x2 jumper plates on the top, so that these figures could kind of sit directly in the middle, or stand directly in the middle, not remembering that minifigs are more than 2 studs wide, and that wasn't going to leave room for their arms. So I swapped these out for some 2x2 jumper plates, which means that with a bit of careful positioning, Hermione and Ron can stand on their chairs as they have to with their short legs. The door can close behind them, and this wall can also go in front of them as well. So overall, I am pretty happy with how this looks. The doll's house effect is really nice. I really like how that looks with the library across the top, those classrooms down below, and then even below that you have got the potions class, which of course we covered in the last video. So there we go. That is the majority of details on the Viaduct Entrance Building. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this and the rest of what I'm calling the West Wing of the castle, pop it all together on the desk here so you can see it, and that will be it for this video. And here we are with the West Wing of Hogwarts. And it occurred to me the other day that since designing the first version of this, I've actually completely redesigned this entire part of the castle. The thing that stayed mostly the same is probably the viaduct, although I've made some alterations to that. And the majority of the Great Hall has stayed the same, although actually since I first designed the Great Hall, the version that never actually made it to film, it has undergone so many alterations. It's gotten taller, it's gotten longer, the entrance at the front has changed, the courtyard's changed, the boathouse has changed, the Grand Staircase Tower has got bigger. Interestingly, the new Grand Staircase Tower, or main tower, has recently been revealed, and it comes with some very interesting slope pieces, or cone pieces I should say, which look to be the perfect size for this, so maybe one day I'll replace them. But anyway, yeah, the stone bridge building, or the courtyard entrance building, has been completely redesigned, and now the viaduct entrance building has been completely redesigned. And I think overall it looks really, really good. It all matches up really nicely. Using the plate with studs for the viaduct has worked really well. I'm so impressed actually with how well the stone bridge over there has lined up, because that was an alteration. It does mean it doesn't actually go anywhere at either end, but you could maybe make the argument it goes from window to window or something like that. But yeah, overall just really, really happy with how this section of the castle is looking. Also really happy with how the rest of the castle is looking, just a little bit more work that needs to be done. So in the next video, I am going to be showing you the end of the wooden bridge. I don't really know what you call it, the little kind of building entrance to the wooden bridge by the stone circle that leads down to Hagrid's hut. And then there are other builds to do. I need to do the astronomy tower, I need to do the Forbidden Forest, I need to do Hagrid's pumpkin patch, which I actually recently designed, and there's probably going to be even more stuff coming out. So yeah, comparing Hogwarts, my Hogwarts, Lego's microscale Hogwarts up there, I'm pretty happy with how this is looking. I'm hoping one day I'll be able to get to take this to some sort of exhibition, convention or something like that, and show it off in front of people, but yeah, we will have to wait and see. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Leave a like down below, leave a comment, let me know what you think of Hogwarts so far, 5 years later, and I will be seeing you again very soon.